The Nintendo PlayStation Super Nintendo prototype is up for auction. Activision Blizzard is no longer having their games on Nvidia's streaming service, and more. I'm Andrew Dornan, and this is my show, What's New? So, a couple of things. One, I have been getting kind of lucky past couple of days with the natural light, like today and also Thursday. It's just been beautiful outside, nice high pressure, keeping all the clouds away, and also it's windy, so depending on how bad it is, you might hear a little woo in the background. That's just the wind. Let's see, what other quick bits of news before we get started. I forgot to order the lighting kit, so I'm kind of rolling the dice on what Monday's going to be like in terms of weather. If it's dark, then we're going to have another orange day. But I think that's everything as far as little bits are concerned. I think I might be swapping rooms a lot sooner, and so you guys will probably have a totally different look behind me. So with that out of the way, let's actually get into the news, what you came here for. So our first bit of gaming news is that the Nintendo PlayStation Super Nintendo prototype is up for auction. More specifically, it's reached $360,000. That is the current max bid. Now, there is a premium that will be tacked on to that bid. So if we just use the current max bid of $360,000, for example, then the buyer would ultimately pay about $432,000, which is insane, but also kind of expected. This is like a weird bit of gaming history where Nintendo and Sony tried to team up to make a cartridge CD-ROM hybrid console, and of course we all know that didn't work out, and Sony went on to make its Sony PlayStation, which turns out to have been a major hit. And now we're at the PS4, and the PS5 is coming soon, which apparently is going to be pretty expensive because they're using all those high-end parts, but that's a topic for another day. I have been poking around, I just all the news surrounding it, because I love gaming history, and I've seen some people being like, oh, it should have been donated to a museum should have bought it. And I've seen countless gaming historians come back and be like, well, it's already been documented to all hell and back. We know everything that we possibly could about this system, and so paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for this thing, or to pay even tens of thousands of dollars to some sort of local collector, whoever may have had this at the time it went up for auction, probably would not have been worth it just to get a few hundred more people through the door. As someone who's kind of messed around with museum stuff in the past, I've looked into operating my own, and then I've also made friends with those who do operate museums, and just kind of talk to museum directors in general. You don't really go for that sort of high-end purchase, especially when you're not 100% sure it'll bring in as many people that could possibly keep you afloat after making such a huge decision. Because if we're going to be honest, $360,000 is about the cost of a really nice house in the southeast Texas, or even some of the more rural parts of Texas, where $400,000, which is roughly what the buyer would pay after premium. That's still a really nice house. So effectively you're having a museum try and buy this piece of gaming history that costs as much as a freaking house. So in my opinion, we've already got it super documented, and if the buyer wants to make more documents about it, maybe find some sort of unreleased software, and then maybe send that software to a museum for them to finish cataloging it, that would be cool. But other than that, honestly, I don't think it would necessarily be worth it for a museum to buy something that's this expensive just to get maybe 100 more people through the door in probably a month, and which wouldn't extend very well to the long term. So I don't know, those are my thoughts. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Our next bit of gaming news is that all the games made by Activision Blizzard are no longer on Nvidia's GeForce Now service. This is something that just came out of left field. It's not entirely sure as to why they were removed, but Nvidia has gone on to the record to say that maintaining a streaming service means continually adding new games and on occasion having to remove games similar to other digital service providers. Per their request, please be advised Activision Blizzard games will be removed from the service. While unfortunate, we hope to work together with Activision Blizzard to re-enable these games and more in the future. Now, we don't exactly know why that they would remove these games. However, there might be some information pointing towards, maybe another exclusivity deal, because we do know that Activision Blizzard did indeed sign some sort of deal with Google regarding streaming their games on Google Stadia. It could have been, an exclusivity deal, and so part of that deal was to remove their games from Nvidia GeForce Now. Now, these aren't just like a couple of games from Blizzard Entertainment, a couple of games of Activision's catalog. These are a lot of titles. To start with the smaller list for Blizzard Entertainment, we have Diablo 3, Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, StarCraft Remastered, StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void, World of Warcraft, Battle for Azeroth, and World of Warcraft Classic. And then for Activision, we have Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 single player, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 single player, Call of Duty World War 2, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Sakura Shadows Die Twice, and Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This list comes from Polygon's article, which is also where they managed to get the quote from Nvidia. Now, what does this mean for Nvidia's GeForce Now service? I honestly don't know. Activision is a huge company. The Call of Duty games are all major successes, but you can purchase their games anywhere. So I'm not sure if this necessarily would hurt Nvidia GeForce Now, because if you're already a fan of the Call of Duty games and a fan of Blizzard games, you probably, you have an account with their exclusive distribution platform, and you probably bought all the games on like Steam, or if you play it on Xbox, you have those games on Xbox. So who knows? This is definitely one of those things where they have so many other games, but this is such a huge retraction. Will other companies follow suit? I don't think so, because it seems like GeForce Now might be a very strong competitor to Google Stadia. So this is definitely a wait and see story. Our final bit of gaming news for today is that Disney is encouraging more developers to make games like Jedi Fallen Order and Spider-Man for PS4. Sean Shoptaw, Vice President of Games and Interactive Experiences at Disney, went on the record to say, "I'm here for one specific reason: to empower you to do really unique things with our catalog. We want to tap into the power of creatives across the industry." For me personally, that's really exciting to hear, because for the longest time we kind of had the EA games. The original EA Star Wars Battlefront was okay. I had fun with it. I eventually got all the DLC for it, and I had a blast with it until EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out, and then everyone went there, and the first one just became riddled with small servers and hackers. And then Star Wars Battlefront 2 by EA is definitely a really fun game, but EA's fingers are all up in it. But we did get Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which didn't have EA's fingers up all in its grill, and we got a really nice game out of it. So maybe we might get more games like Jedi Fallen Order, or maybe we could even potentially see a new edition in the the Jedi Knight series, maybe do like a complete reboot of that with the new canon, and use the Jedi Fallen Order engine, or perhaps a different version of that. Or perhaps we could see something kind of interesting where they do true to heart remakes of all of the old Battlefront games. That's honestly what I've been hoping ever since EA attained the license to make Star Wars games. Is, you know, would they remake, you know, the classic Battlefront, Battlefront 2, Renegade Squadron, and Elite Squadron? That I would love to see. But I'm not 100% sure if it would actually happen, but if it did happen, that'd be pretty cool. Other than that, there's no real other news, no news that I could fit into such a short episode. There's a ton of news articles over on Polygon and GameSpot, and I'm just one person, I can't keep up with all the news. So I have sources to all the people that I referenced in today's show notes, and they'll be up above if you're viewing on Facebook, or down below if you are viewing on the website. No website news. I'm just slowly working on retooling the navigation bar, getting some new pages put in so that way the navigation bar isn't totally broken, and also developing those funding goal graphics. But yeah, that's it. Short, sweet, and definitely late. It is 10:55 a.m., which means this episode probably won't go out until like noon, which is real rough, but you know, sometimes you got to deal with the hand you're dealt with. So yeah, go out and enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday for another episode of Andrew Dornan's What's New. Bye-bye.